And during the few moments that we have left, we want to have just an off-the-cuff chat between you and me. Us. We want to talk right down to earth in a language that everybody here can easily understand.
Yes, we are going to talk right down to earth in a language here that everyone can supposedly easily understand. All right, I'm probably gonna. I am gonna start all my videos like that I don't have an actual structure for, but I want to talk really quick about what this Kim Davis incident is really about in the overall grand scheme of things. Kim Davis this Kim Davis incident is a beta test for arresting people for their religious convictions. All right, now they're masking it, and she didn't do her job, and this, that, and the third, and just kind of whatever excuse people want to tell themselves. But if that's the actual case, and that's really what this is about, she would have been fired, not arrested. Because if your job is to sign marriage certificates and make them legal documents, and you don't do that, that's just failure to do your job. That's not really, I don't know Kentucky state law on that issue. I'm pretty sure it's not a criminal offense, because it's not fraud or anything like that. It's just failure to do your job. But then again, you could probably make that argument. But again, I'm not going to go into the legalisms of it, because it's kind of pointless. Because when I get into these legal arguments with people always kind of, they get really mentally ill. And they stop knowing how to think, because this has to do with religion and politics and worldview, and people seem to just lose themselves in their own fog and then just throw their hands in the air and walk away, versus actually critically analyze what the situation is about. Okay, but all that aside, this is still a beta test by the ruling oligarchy to be able to arrest people for their religious conviction. Because if you notice, when they talk about Kim Davis and what she did, there's constant reiteration about her being a Christian. Okay, and we already have the whole how people from Kentucky are, and then there's already the anti-Christian agenda that's going on, and she's made to look radical and crazy, and this is what happens when people from the trailer park get to set policy. Although I don't even think she lives in a trailer park, but that's the way they're that's what they're implying by the way that they make her look. And you never really see her done up and looking nice. It's all, coming out of jail, going into jail, stock photo footage. It's never, they don't have the PR people in there like when rich people get in trouble. When rich people get in trouble, or or a politician, they have their PR representatives getting there. It's like, okay, you have to wear your hair this way, wear these clothes, don't say this, do say that. But see, with Kim Davis, it's just, throw a microphone in front of her face and hope for the best. It's like, because they know, unless you're a public speaker or you know how the public works, that you're going to say something that's going to hang yourself. Like Clive Bundy, how they try to make him look like he was this, black people were better under slavery, when he didn't say that at all. But, again, people are mentally lazy and no one likes to think, so they can just do that. But that's what they do, And she's the perfect candidate for public scrutiny, because, she has divorces, she has kids, she's not married, blah, 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 blah. And then like, well, who is she to lecture us on marriage when she's been divorced multiple times? And, she's literally the perfect candidate, But no one ever wants to talk about when did she become a Christian, because it's one of those things of, if she's been a Christian for the past, 5 or 6 years, and all of that stuff happened more than 5 or 6 years ago, then it's like, well, she wasn't living a Christian lifestyle, so what do you expect? And again, it's what I've heard other people claim, like about Christianity. It's like you're holding someone accountable to a life standard that they don't adhere to. But then that's just hypocrisy in its general form. But regardless, this is just a beta test for being able to arrest people for their religious beliefs. And that's what the establishment's going to use this for. That's what the oligarchy is going to use this for. They're going to let us holler and scream about the details and, what she said and when and who and why. They let stuff like that just kind of go to the wayside. They had her arrested. She shouldn't have been arrested, which is probably why she even got out, because I'm sure the lawyers was probably open and shut case as far as legalistically is open and shut case. But they just really want to see, okay, let's arrest her and see what the public outcry is, and there was some arresting for religious beliefs and didn't do her job, etc. and so forth. And it's like, okay, but we're riding a fine line, because see, we have a First Amendment to practice our religion, and you cannot be arrested for that, period, because it's unconstitutional. Now, you can make the argument that she was forcing her religious beliefs onto other people, which that is a legal case, or that is a truthful situation. But now we have to address the whole issue of marriage being religious and not a civil governmental institution. Religion grants marriages, not the state. And people don't like having that conversation, because everybody wants to, just try to have their cake and eat it too. In the sense of like, they want the quote unquote marriage benefits. They want the free government handouts, and if you say that marriage is religious, then that means you have to get rid of that. So that's how they keep the conservative right and the conservative right in line, by saying, oh, this was a part of the law, and we have to follow the law, and blah 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 blah. Even though that is true, but again, you're giving religious jurisdiction to the state. And that, but and see, again, that this goes into the whole, they control both sides. See, they have to sit here and tell the conservative, this is for God and country and blah, 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 blah. So they'll keep marriage on the books lawfully so government can do it. Or so government can jurisdict over religious matters. But they keep the left in line, because, see, the left likes the state, and they like free stuff, and they like getting things without working for it. So they sit here and they propagate to them that, oh, this is about happiness and candy and rainbows and unicorns and running through the field picking flowers, because that's stuff that the left likes to hear. So, they already control both sides of the argument. And, and the more candy and rainbows the left comes with, the more, this law has been on the books since 18 blah, 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 and we can't change it, and blah, 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 from the right. And it's just this constant back and forth. All the while, the government just sits back and controls and waits for the dust to settle. Then they sit here and say, okay, to make everything fair, give us more power, and y'all just have to deal with it. And that's where this is going, because it's going to be, okay, Kim Davis was arrested. Yeah, she shouldn't have been arrested, but here's the law. Here we have to do this, and there's probably going to be all these little special rules and cases and blah blah blah. As far as legalistic matters is concerned, goodness, and it's just going to basically end in the government has more power. But that's how this. I mean, that's how this works. That's how this works. And it's so annoying that people can't see this, because it's not the first time this has happened, And today is Kim Davis, tomorrow it'll be somebody else. But that's all this is. This is the slow erosion of the First Amendment. We've already had the Second Amendment. Patriot Act was the Fourth Amendment. Go down the line. Like this whole illegal immigration thing, that was the Ninth and 10th Amendment. Arizona's trying to protect the borders against illegal Mexicans crossing, and our own federal government's like, you can't do that. And it's just like, What do you mean we can't protect our national border? Are you serious? That's treason. But again, people don't know the law, so no one's upset about that. And that was news from 2010. So that's 5 years. That's a half a decade old. But this is just precedent setting. It's just another thing from the Bill of Rights that we can't have. But this is what America wants by not caring about the law, not studying it, and not knowing what they're talking about. But anyway, that's my video. John from the Gen XY.